New Tool Day Tuesday, where I share with you unique or useful tools that I myself use that I think you might be interested in. I purchased this from our local O'Reilly store, and this is not sponsored by them in any way. However, I would like to give them a shout out. The local store where we have those people are absolutely awesome, and I love shopping at O'Reilly's because of this. What we're looking at today is O'Reilly's Tank Tough Jack. It is a 3-ton jack, but what makes it special is it has treads. These treads may sound kind of useless to you, but if you're like me and you have a really bad driveway, an asphalt driveway with a bunch of cracks, well, the regular jacks, the wheels seem to get stuck in those cracks. So I purposely bought this jack so that I can work on things in my driveway and the jack doesn't get stuck. Now inside the box, you're going to find the jack itself. You are also going to find a manual to that jack. You're going to find the handle, which is 2 pieces. The bottom one is coated with a rubber material so it doesn't bang up your car. Because the jack is relatively low profile, it does come with a riser so you can add more height if you need to the foot of the jack. For safety, that riser does bolt onto that foot. That also means they give you the hardware to bolt it on in case you do need that riser. And then something else they do that I think is brilliant is they give you a riser holder. That way, if you don't need to use the riser, you can mount this bracket right here and it will store the riser for you. And there's even an extra place to store the riser hardware. So if you need to take those bolts that they give you and just screw them into here so you won't lose them, you can. I think that's awesome. Located on the front of the jack is a really bright light. This light is held in place by a strong neodymium magnet. It does flood out quite a bit, and right now it's facing in the upper position, which would be great if you're trying to see where you're putting this pad, but you can also pull it off, rotate it, stick it on the other direction, and it's more forward facing. The jack handle uses these push button style connectors. I really like that. I have a jack now that I've lost the bolt that goes into the 2-piece handle. The jack in its lowest position is about 4.5 inches to the top of that pad. It's actually a little less than 4.5 inches. The riser is also adjustable. It measures 7.5 inches at this height. If you change that height, you can only go down to one other pin position because there's only 2 pin positions. In this pin position, it measures 6 inches. And the base of that riser is keyed, so when you put it in place, you give it a little twist, and at this point, it's pretty much locked in there, but you still need to put the bolts in for safety. And now that I've installed this bracket, you can see how the riser stores. The storage for the 2 bolts to bolt the riser on store nice and neat here, and even the Allen key to tighten them up and loosen them up has a place to stay. The tank treads are a really heavy-duty rubber, and I expect these will last a very long time. You can also see that they are reinforced with a type of webbing, and spoiler alert, they appear to be just belts, so if you want to replace them, you can. Each set of tank treads do articulate. That way, if you do have some rough terrain, or in my case, a really bad asphalt driveway, it's not going to be a problem. This particular jack, because of the treads, well, it's able to glide across those tracks, and each wheel, as you can see, is adjusting, or each tread is adjusting for the terrain. It even seems to navigate even over grass with relative ease. It's not really bad. You could drag this across the yard if you had to, and, well, you'd be okay. It is a quick pump jack, so that means it moves up relatively quickly as you're pumping it. It's not going to take a bunch of little pumps to move the jack up and put it in place. And as you can see, even with this riser, I'm able to pick my trailer up. It just makes it really convenient. I really like this jack. What are my final thoughts of this tank jack? I really like it. I think it serves a purpose if you need something like this to go over some rough kind of driveways or even some rough areas. It's going to glide over those cracks without any problems. The treads do give it a little bit more resistance than a standard jack, but quite honestly, it's not really that big of a deal. Now keep in mind, this is a 3-ton jack, so it can handle 6,000 pounds, and it is relatively heavy for a jack. In fact, I would call it tank heavy. If you like these types of videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. Take a look at some of my other videos. At the very least, you might be entertained.